And our dirt's pretty well cleaned up. At least it's done being hacked down. They're done with a matic. I'd say they've planted garden vegetables. I'm not sure what that is. I'd hope to think it was peppers, but I'm not sure what they're planting. Uh, I'm pretty sure this is the guy's garden. Gloria's garden is down to the bottom of the hill. It's on unlevel ground, so this must be up near the worker's house. We have a house up there. It was a house out of hollow block, and we doubled the size with poured concrete. It was sort of a learning place for people that fished on other people's boats and wove mats out of reeds. They'd never done any construction before they built that house or our cottage, so we started them with that. Yeah, I didn't know we had that much cleared land right there. There's the papaya tree coming back. Somebody decided to cut it off about 6 feet above the ground and cut the fruits off and all the branches. And there's still resonating echoes of my wife when she saw that. Anyway, the thing is coming back. They grow really fast. Oh, this is the uncle of the guys on the crew. Um, he died, and they went to the funeral. It's his daddy, and there's the guy in. No, I wouldn't call it real life because he's not live. They have a funeral that lasts maybe a week. These guys didn't stay that long, but then they have prayers for about 3 months, and then they'll celebrate his birthday every year for a lot of years, just like he was sitting there. They really honor their ancestors. Okay, starting to put forms up. Always start with the corner form. That keeps things plumb a lot better. And you see the spacers in there. That tells you how thick your wall is going to be. You don't over tighten those because if you do, you'll distort the spacers and it's near impossible to knock them out. See, we're using 1/2-inch bolts and it's not hard to over tighten them. Texas Filipinos looks like he's using 3/8 bolts, and the bolt's not strong enough to crush the plastic. Plus, it's about 35 or 40% on the money. So the 3/8 bolt is the way to go. But we had these 1/2-inch bolts from our standard forms. So, hardware on hand is free. And also, you can put pieces of it together with, they call it connector nuts. It's like a big tall nut. They call them tall nuts also. These blue things you see on the black plates, those are screwed in from the face of it into it, but the joints are not connected. These are all just braces across and up and down, but they're not connected to each other. And there's one screw pattern, and if you want to take and swap them, you lay this panel, the opposing panel down, just butt the bottoms together, take the screws out, switch the phenolic board, screws right back, goes right back in the holes, and you'll be pouring concrete against this side. Now this has been flipped. You can still there's some delamination on this form here. That's because it was used septic tank, cistern, tilapia tank, dirty kitchen. 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 times, 14 uses, and then they flipped them over. We could buy a new phenol. And see, when you flip them over, Some of this stuff is thicker. So there's about an 1/8 inch or maybe 3/16 gap right there in that form. uh, if the wall comes out and it shows that, I can put a render on it, or I can just let it go. Sometimes I just don't really care. It's up under the solar array. It's in the dark. I wouldn't render that. The outside's going to be backfilled with dirt. So we're using these forms a couple more times here. Anything that's going to be underwater in the shrimp tank, which has dirt on the outside and water on the inside, we're going to use those forms until they come apart. But if on the stuff above that, we'll probably reface them. Okay, this showing us they're going to try to run some of these forms again with duct tape. Somebody's made a video. I'm not shaking that. But you see these edges are coming loose. So they have to they have to put some little nails in there as they do the tape. We put this tape on the round window forms, and that same round form is done every window that size on the property, and their smaller window form has done just as many. And they've had that tape on them since the first. We pull them apart to get them out of the wall. And any tape that's looking shabby, we either put another piece right over top of it, or we just put new tape. Boy and Al. Benji's currently working for somebody else right now. I'm not gonna get into the dirty laundry. I'll get him back when I get back. He's one of my go-to guys and speaks some English. None of the rest of them speak any. Well, Alicia, he speaks English. We call him Nane. It's because what everybody else called him. His name's Alicio. His daughter's Elise. Baja Kubo, bought in 2014, still standing. I think it was $1,600 delivered and set up on a foundation. And there's not much difference in price today. That's showing a corner and the some delamination on that one piece of form right there. If it's not bad, they'll use it again. But we're going to eventually reface them. He's taping up a form. That's boy. Alicio, he's currently the foreman. His brother's on one of his drinking stints, so it makes him a little less reliable. And this brother and boy's another one of his brothers, because they've been technically, actually they've been put in charge. They'll stop him from any kind of drinking. They're going to make him go cold turkey. And they're both big fellas, you know. Of course, boy is probably the strongest of the three, but he knows he shouldn't drink like that. His wife won't live with him because of it, you know. This is just in the middle of putting some forms up. We're going to pour down here. Not sure how far it goes. I guess it goes just past these standing things here. It'd be 1/4 of the perimeter wall. We're not pouring a whole band all the way around. One, we need a place to take the mixture out, in and out on the south side, the short wall. And the other is that there's no water in here. We're not worried about any kind of leakage between the things. This couple big nuts and a bolt is what mounts the drum. There's a sleeve in this sort of a made-up 4-inch I-beam, you know, but it's made out of plate. Right here is a piece of pipe. And that piece of pipe goes between the bearing in the drum and that flat plate on the hoop here that it sets in. And that determines the clearance between the this ring gear that goes around here and a pinion that's on the other side. When you tilt it over and the drum doesn't turn, or makes grinding sounds the whole time it's mixing, you take that nut off, you get it level, get about 4 guys, a couple 2x4s or whatever, and you just slide this thing out and set it on the ground. Take that piece of pipe off. Both of our mixers needed 6 millimeters taken off the pipe. They just come out the same, wouldn't necessarily be the same. But while it's still assembled, you put the drum straight up where it's sitting on it, and you figure out what kind of a space you can take out between the two gears, the two gear teeth. And that's how much you cut off of it. You can leave 1 millimeter or something like that if you want for clearance, but it's going to wear into it, so why do it twice? If we were smart, we'd have changed the bearings while we had it out. You know, the bearings in the pinion gear, because you have to take the drum out, and the pinion shaft slides to the inside. So anytime you take that drum off, you have to change your pinion bearings. They're ball bearings. They're not Timken taper bearings. They're ball bearings. So when they go, it's just a catastrophic failure right in the middle of a big pour usually. That's why there's 2 of these things. The other one's up on the roof. This is just cap it off any way you can. This is obviously a form piece that's been delaminated pretty good. I'm sure he'll put a little something across right up here when he pours. It doesn't make any difference as long as it doesn't run out in the ground, because all the other pours are going to come to that same point. They'll fill in any void there is. But they'll make it neat. They'll put a little piece up here. At least they have 100% of the time in the past. And you see the form's looking pretty straight, but there we got that bow and the rebar. They're going to take them and around these through bolts, they can wrap a wire around that and then pull them one side or the other to the vertical bars, and they'll straighten that up. Out there, a gravel pile has seen better days. It's almost flat land now. It could be the sand pile, because they look the same right now. We're using what they call piped water, city water. There's no salt in it. It burns your eyes if you take a shower in it. I wouldn't drink it. I don't let the people that work for me drink it. We buy them those 4-gallon things for 25 pesos. You just exchange them. They clean them out and put filtered water in them. But they're filling the water up ahead of a pour, and that's Boyette. This is his contraption to put the center of the weight of these bags of rock and gravel where the handles are a little lighter, so he can move it. We have a 2-wheel cart, and we have this one. But they're bringing this about 150 yards down from the other side of the house. There's no use carrying that on your shoulder. They want to know if they could have a wheelbarrow, and we had somebody on the way to get it about 5 minutes later. Okay, this is a major screw-up. This is our vent window. The bottom of this circle is supposed to be 16 inches above the concrete. See this diagonal line here? That's a rebar. That's the top of the wall. This much of the vent is above the wall. It'll just cut the wall right in too. Also, I want this low enough that while we're working on it, we can walk in and out through that hole. Just step over it. You know, just like stepping over a foot-high wall. The reason we didn't use the door there is because we got a bunch of cobra snakes on the property. And while they can climb up vertical surfaces half their length without any problem at all, they don't tend to do it. They're going to go along the ground anytime they can. So a foot and a half tall piece of concrete is as good as one that's 8 feet tall to them. They're just too lazy to climb over it. I don't know about rats. Occasionally, if we have things stored in the house that are stacked up, we can get rats living in it, and they're hard to get rid of. They're real hard to get rid of. unless you want to just outright kill them. And then you can see here's the top of the wall, and there's the form sticking up. You can also see that they're using gray duct tape on this one. We used to use different colors of duct tape so we could tell how old the tape was by how many different colors we had up there. This is going to be the dividing wall. He's in the power room right now. Dividing wall here. And so what we have is we have a bar that's bent. This inside of the wall goes down in there and it sticks out. And we'll attach the bars that run the length of the building out here. That anchors that corner to the wall, makes it a T section. We're doing it a new way right here. I think we're really going to like it. And you can see how much of that circle is above that diagonal line. Lord, I hope we can get them to stop to lower that before they pour it. I don't know. Yeah, still doing the same thing. I'm not sure about it. I know it's too high. I'm not sure it doesn't belong on the other side of that wall over here too. I'll have to check the dimensions with my wife. I think that thing belongs on this panel over here. And we'll find out. Sure wasn't intended to put it inside the power room. That would let dampness in. Okay. This is another obscenely long video. And nobody watches these videos, so I'm not going to bother the 4 times saves to divide it in 2. Because it's all about the same thing. And most people will watch 5 minutes and just, clicked on to something else. So it's not going to be, they'll not know that it's a very long video of all the same thing. Okay. Say a little prayer for the people sick from COVID. And later.